Salutations, everybody. My name is Chris Russell, and I'm the host of I Think of Something podcast. Now, this podcast will be focused on topics around family, faith, finances, health, mental health to be exact, fun and leisure, and relationships. And I bring this one topic up about relationships because we're going to talk about two that are important to me. So let's get started. Before I start the podcast, I typically like to ask myself I like to check in with myself, check on my wellness, on my health, see how I am doing. So, how am I doing? I'm doing all right. I'm handling situations throughout my life, particularly with my mental health, just keeping myself in line for everything that just comes my way. And I'm looking forward to it. Looking for more excitement and opportunities to come my way. One of those opportunities is building my relationships with my mom and my dad, which I aptly named this episode, I'm thinking of MOMMA and P.O.P. 21-year-old Stephanie met 19-year-old Wayne, and they fell in love. And when they fell in love, they created me in the process. That has to be one of the greatest stories I've ever heard. Don't even have to write this because it's already blueprint for us. Well, for me per se. And with this relationship with both my mom and my dad, I realized they both have affected me positively and negatively. We're going to focus on the positive side. So when I was 13, I was in a conundrum, I'll say. And my mom and dad were asking me where did I want to live. First, it started with my dad. Living with P.O.P. That's my man's, $100,000. Always know how to keep me on my toes and grounded at the same time. At the time where my mom and dad were at odds, my dad asked me, do I want to live with him? Just like typical kids, me, I said no. Because I wanted to live with my mom. So I wound up living with my mom for that foreseeable time until we moved down to South Carolina. So with this moment, my mom asked me, do I want to live in South Carolina? Which ultimately, yes, I did, which we'll get a later pod about. And when I did make that decision, I realized it changed me forever. Not as a teenager, but changed me as a man also. So where do I want to take this story? My mom, born in Alabama, moved us to New York, correction. She moved with my grandma, God rest her soul. Mom moved to New York with my grandma, God rest her soul, her sisters, and her brother. Years later, my mom and dad met each other, gave birth to me. Learned more about my mom relationship, just sheer time. I got to know more about my mom, particularly now at this present moment. But we're going to talk about the time where everything changed for me. When I was 10, I'll say 10, 9, 10, living in Ocean Village, which is in Queens, I was an avid wrestling fan. To the point I was jumping off her bed, doing dragon attacks and flips and swanton like I was Jeff Hardy. I had a ton of fun playing in my mom's house, which ultimately did get me in some trouble. There was this one moment where me and my brother were in the living room and we were wrestling. I decided to leap onto my brother's back, leapt, either one, and I flipped over. Then he proceeded to pounce on my back, push me down to the floor while my mouth was open, and it broke one of my teeth. I broke my tooth when I was a kid. It cut in half, and I rocked with that for decades. Now, with that time, with the broken tooth, I'm on the floor and I'm screaming, ah, it hurts. I picked up my tooth, ran to my mom's room, showed her that I broke my tooth with tears running down my face, weeping. And you want to know what her response was? That's what you get. You shouldn't have been playing like that. I laugh at it now because I always played. I was one of them kids who just played all the time. But little did I know that it will affect my relationship with my mom. It created this resentment towards her, as if she didn't care about my emotions. Luckily, I've taken time to go to therapy, talk to my parents, build that relationship, particularly my mom, and I have a fantastic relationship with my mom. So how does this factor into my mental health? Let's pan over to my dad. Dr. Eternal Love. That's my dad's nickname. His real name is Wayne. I look similar to him. Matter of fact, I look strikingly similar to him. You put it side to side, you'll see where my genes come from. My dad was born in Queens, Jamaica, South Richmond Hill. I'll get more details from him later. And my dad, he is a jokester. That's a storyteller upon storytellers. If there's anything that he could come up with, he will. And that man's riz, as the kids say now, his riz is off the charts. With that riz, I also found him to be a family man. Dominant. Courageous. Loving. He is stubborn in his own ways, and I love him for that. Learning about my dad over the span of 30 plus years, 37 to be exact, I learned how to be a man. But before I learned how to be a man, I was a boy. And that boy learned how to, how can I say this? Stand up for himself. I say, yo, dad, I feel this way about this topic, or I feel this way about that topic. To be more exact, I asked him about relationships, and he just told me to take my time. When you rush a relationship, you're gonna be quick to rush out of it. Man, did I learn that the hard way. What I also learned the hard way was smoking marijuana. Oh man, this story is near and dear to my heart. I call this the Sour Diesel circa 2011. My cousin, Antoine, introduced me to Mary Jane. I'm in love with the Mary Jane. She's my sweet thing. But I did not know how sweet she was or toxic at the time. So one day, during my dad's nefarious activities, we decided to go upstairs. Correction. I'm gonna take y'all along for this ride, guys. My cousin, Antoine, introduced me to Mary Jane. I'm in love with the Mary Jane. She's my sweet thing. But I did not know how sweet she was or toxic at the time. I'm gonna take y'all along for this ride, guys. I decided to hang out with my cousins. And we all talk, chat, drink, smoke. This was the first time I decided to smoke. Now he introduced this one strand that many people have still talked about to this day called Sour Diesel from 2011. He handed me the jar. As my cousin proceeded to break it down and put it inside of a preferred choice of paper, I started to smoke. Took my first pull. Took my second. Of course, third time's a charm. After the third one, I felt nothing. Didn't expect anything. Thought it was lightweight. What's this? Nothing. Oh well. I bust my ASS going down them stairs, y'all. I had to use the banister to catch myself from falling down the second flight because of how intoxicated I was from the Mary Jane. I didn't know Mary Jane was a bad mother. You know, she was a bad mother, but she caught me. She called me lovely. And the story doesn't stop there, guys. We proceed to go downstairs. This is me and my cousin and other members of the family. We went downstairs to play Texas Hold'em. Now, this is a game I've only played and watched. I played the game on video games and I watched it on TV back when they had World Series of Poker. I guess I'm getting them mixed up. It's fine. We'll just keep it going. As I proceeded to go downstairs to play a game that I have never played in person, I decided to play the game, put my money in, and continue this euphoric ride I was on. This euphoric ride had me so high in the sky that I damn sure made my dad laugh. My dad had the heartiest laugh I have ever heard from him. That right there told me how funny I can be with my dad and how open I can be with my dad, of course. End of the night, I lost my money, lost the games. I went home, didn't realize where I was at, but I got home. Moral of the story, save your money. If I switch into Geico, save your money, guys, save your money. But what this story taught me about my dad in particular is I can have fun and be myself. I used to hold myself back from just expressing myself to family, friends. And my dad showed me that it is okay to be yourself. It is okay to embarrass yourself. It is okay to be. That's it, just be. So I thank my pops for that. I also thank my mom for showing me love. Showing me how being with your family can increase your love for more people. Shout outs to you, Mom. I appreciate you for real, for real. So based on the stories that I got from my mom and my dad, my mom has taught me how to care for people. Also, a work ethic that is high. My dad taught me how to stand up for me, tell a story, joke around, love your family. Your family is there for you, and you get to choose who gets to be in your family. Yes, I'm saying that. You get to choose who you want in your family. It's all about choices, and those choices affect my mental health. My mental health as of right now, you know what? Since we're coming to the closing of this pod, let's talk about how this story affected my mental health. So how am I feeling right now after sharing my story of me, my mom, and my dad? I feel vindicated. Like I can take a breath and share this. This feels good, y'all. Like for real, it really feels good, y'all. Like, if you haven't taken time to spend time with your family, or particularly your mom or dad, send them a text. Give them a call, just saying, hey, I thought about the Target run we made last week. Thank you for those Sour Patch watermelon. Or we went to BJ's a month ago and you got me some Chips Ahoy. Thanks, Mom. Thanks, Dad. I appreciate it. Just call and check on them. Even check on just your unit altogether. Because these people affect your mental health. They do. So, we're gonna close this out. I'm gonna close this out with something different, something new. You know, let me know what y'all guys think in the comments. I'm Chris, and if Wow, see, even I'm stuttering. My name is Chris. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And if it ever changes, I'll let you know. Thank you for coming to the pod. I think of something. I'm your host, Chris Russell. Peace and love, everybody.